And the biggest phrase I'll say is hard to find nothing. Prove that there's nothing. And so I spend so much time in that hole, either proving there's something or proving there's nothing. And I think that's like, in a phrase of a mistake, like just going too far when I don't need to.
Welcome to the Talos Threat Perspective. I'm Hazel Burton. Now, have you ever asked the internet to define threat intelligence? I did. It is the systematic acquisition and contextual analysis of indicators of compromise to enable proactive defensive posturing against adversarial TTPs. Feel spiritually enlightened. But also, like Clippy should probably pop up and say, I think you're overcomplicating this. So maybe let's just not use that definition.
Threat intelligence, the goal is to take that data, contextualize it, but then stop the threat in the process. And when we're thinking about it in that like cookie cutter definition area, we end up forgetting what our goal is, and we're trying to make too much of a structured program. What is threat intelligence? It's part of something. It's helping you enrich what you're doing.
So, actually, threat intelligence isn't a standalone thing, it's connective tissue. It's the curiosity that links a log file to a pattern to a threat, and a threat to a remediation action. It's about building awareness into everything that you do. Coming up on today's episode, Anna Bennett, who you just saw, she sits in our threat intelligence and interdiction team, and she shares what threat intelligence looks like in her day to day role, what she's learned along the way, the rabbit holes that she has wound up in, and also how to share threat intelligence effectively. So, when Anna says that threat intelligence is part of everything that you do, she means that literally for her. Her career path to where she is today wasn't planned, but when she looked back, she realized that she's been using threat intelligence from the very beginning.
So when I got out of college, I had started in an internship with vulnerability management. And when you're doing vulnerability management, you're also kind of working with the threat intel team to understand what we need to focus on. I think like it's given me the right to say that it is a really great beginner role, because I feel like that's an arguable thing to say. Um, but it really is, it gives you a good starting point to understand like the people you're working with. So like we worked with risk management because they needed to understand like if we were buying a software or something, like what mattered. Um, and so yeah, I started there and then ended up kind of shifting into a more forensics role where I still use threat intelligence. I never got to really leave that threat intelligence start.
What I love about that story is that it shows that threat intelligence isn't necessarily a single department that you just join. It's a way of looking at problems that sticks with you wherever you go. Once you started asking why, it's hard to stop. I'm sure a lot of you with small children will empathize with that one. Now, of course, all of that curiosity can send you down some unexpected rabbit holes.
The rabbit hole does kind of help in the sense of like, I have stumbled upon something that's not good. And that's when you get like when the whole job gets interesting, because you're like trying to figure out, why is this not good? Who's responsible for it? How did it get there? And how can we stop it? And at the end of the day, that's what we do.
And inevitably, some investigations don't pan out.
You will end up looking at an IOC that not necessarily doesn't matter, but like maybe it's a Cloudflare IP address. And now you're like, I just looked into almost nothing, or you didn't get information on it. So then you're at that point, you're looking for, again, nothing. And I think I like early on did that so much, especially when I started at Talos. I was like, oh, this IP is bad. And I'm digging through and there was nothing valuable there. And the biggest phrase I'll say is hard to find nothing. Prove that there's nothing. And so I spend so much time in that hole, either proving there's something or proving there's nothing. And I think that's like, in a phrase of a mistake, like just going too far when I don't need to.
You know what? Sometimes the right answer really is nothing. Oh, we've reached some Freud level shit here today on the TTP. Most people will tell you that curiosity is key for working in threat intelligence. I'd probably even go so far as to call it a mild compulsion, at least the kind where your brain just pulls at a thread and suddenly the whole jumper's come apart. Most people call that overthinking. My therapist calls it billable hours. But curiosity alone can only take you so far. The real growth happens when you can admit that you're not on the right track, or when someone else spots something that you might have missed.
I think like a lot of ego can come out of like what you're finding, but you learn more when you just accept that maybe your research was wrong, your findings were wrong. Um, if someone has a better way of doing something, like being open to learning how to do that stuff, I kind of feel like sometimes you can be a little bit like, no, 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 my way or the highway. And just because you're used to it. And there are like, it's technology, it's evolving. And to be able to continue to find new threats and get information out there, you need to be open to learning from other people too. There's probably somebody who knows how to look at an IP address way better than you. And that was a little bit of my experience was like, I know that this is my weakness. So I learned from everybody. Like, how can I understand?
There's something really grounding about that. Curiosity keeps you sharp, but humility keeps you human, I guess. And somewhere in between the two is where the best threat intelligence lives. Now, one final thing to call out about threat intelligence is that it doesn't matter how good your analysis is if no one actually reads it or, more importantly, acts on it.
If there's not enough context in what you're looking at and like not enough reasoning behind what you're reporting, it just kind of scares people a little bit more. Like a lot of social media posts are like that. Oh my gosh, this threat actor's using this IP. And it's like, what for? When? And you get all those questions that like don't help a lot of defenders where it's like, well, I don't know what to look for when I'm looking through logs. I don't know where to start when I'm looking through logs. If we have a year of logs, you said this IP is bad, and maybe I got it a year ago, but then like now what? I don't know if it was bad a year ago because you didn't put that in what you were sending out. So I think a lot of that is just making sure it makes sense and we're not fear mongering with the data we're putting out.
Absolutely. So, what can we take away from this episode? Well, one, threat intelligence is the thing that connects the tactical to the technical, and it's the thing that turns analysis into action. Number two, whether you're new to the field or you're deep in the trenches, goal's pretty similar. Stay curious, stay collaborative, and stay humble. And number three, follow the white rabbit if you must, but remember he carries a pocket watch for a reason. Don't spend too much time down there that you forget the way out. Huge thanks to Anna for sharing her insights and her experience, and of course to you for watching. You can check out more episodes of the Talos Threat Perspective here on YouTube, and you can read more from our threat intelligence teams on talosintelligence.com. Thanks for watching. Take care.